Spoiler alert.
But I'm basing this off of what a fat piece of shit you are, JonTron.
So let's talk to Mr. Angry, shall we?
So there's this racist asshat on the internet, and his name is John Jafari.
God damn, that is some serious salt. Jesus Christ, out of the gate, he's a racist asshole. He's probably not even a real comedian, is he?
He's a popular YouTuber, he's a gamer, and Gizmodo, using the term comedian very liberally.
Yeah, because he's actually a professional racist, isn't he?
Calls him a comedian.
As did literally everyone right up until this moment, but go on.
Which I have issues with.
But you didn't have issues with it yesterday, did you? Yesterday everything was just hunky-dory. Didn't even think about JonTron, but suddenly today, you're angry.
JonTron has a lot of interesting opinions on race, genetic predisposition, race relations in America.
Well, I'll stop you there because I watched that stream as well, and that does not sound like a fair characterization to me. I mean, for starters, race relations, what are you going to say? They're good? Are they good? Do you think they're good? Are you fucking mental? You people are the kings of shitting up race relations. And you're going to sit here and tell us that race relations are pretty good, are you? You fucking idiots. But B, John's a terrible debater and Destiny isn't. Destiny was constantly trying to paint him into a corner to get him to say something that he didn't mean. And it looks like it worked.
He's basically an alt-right fuckhead.
You're saying this because his middle name is Aryan, aren't you?
JonTron, who forgets that he himself is non-white, he's half Hungarian and half Persian.
Did you just use his race as a refutation of his ideas? Holy fuck. You just told him to stay in his lane because he's not white.
Which is really interesting to me because...
You're a giant fucking racist. It's always on your mind. You literally cannot stop thinking about race, and you think that telling John that he's non-white means that he's wrong.
You know, in the Trump administration.
Oh no, this is Donald Trump's fault that you happen to be a complete and total racist. No, I'm sorry. I don't really see what this has got to do with Donald Trump in any way, shape or form.
The country of his origin, his father being an immigrant, an Iranian immigrant, his country of origin is one of the banned 6 countries, so that's awkward.
Fucking why? His father's already in the country. He's already where he wants to be. John was born in America. Why the hell do you think he's got to owe some kind of allegiance to Iran? He's an American citizen, you freak. And I think that's how he thinks of himself, as an American citizen, not like an Iranian American. And honestly, I think that's the more healthy way to do it.
But yeah, he had a lot of scandalous things to say on this debate that he did with Destiny.
Oh man, there's nothing I like more than scandalous things. I can feel some moral grandstanding coming on. Guess who's better than JonTron? You better write it in your Twitter bio, in fact, Hasan. You should really say, look, I am less racist than JonTron. I'm certain of it. I mean, I'm only really racist, but he's slightly more racist than I am.
Now, the debate is 2 hours long, and there are definitely some very interesting parts about it in the debate. I urge you to check it out if you want to just, feel better about yourself.
I love how you just come out and say it. This is about nothing other than you trying to feel better about yourself because you think you're better than JonTron. Write it on your fucking t-shirt, mate. Walk around with it. That's what I think you should do. And the thing is, have you noticed that you have replaced arguments with moral grandstanding? In fact, that is the problem with the entire left. And as soon as it becomes about moral grandstanding and not making reasoned arguments, the people who are fucking stupid think, oh, that's a good idea. I can morally grandstand, but I can barely think. You and all your cronies are doing something a little like this.
Because there's just really fucking awful humans on the internet, or really stupid people on the internet that portray themselves as intelligent because, they're throwing pseudoscience out there and throwing facts.
Holy shit, dude. If I were you, I wouldn't start throwing stones, because all of those rays of sunshine that are hitting you straight in the face and illuminating exactly who the problem is means that you are living in a glass house.
For example, one of the facts that JonTron mentioned was that black Americans, or blacks in general, are genetically predisposed to commit more crimes than whites.
I don't think he did actually say that, did he? He was actually referring to the crime statistics. I don't think that he's a geneticist, and I don't think he was saying that he knew it was genetic. But that's pretty red-pilled, Hasan. I'm not surprised that that's the interpretation of it you would take.
Regardless of socioeconomic background.
I'm sorry, I've tried to formulate a cogent response to this, but all I can do is laugh of just how phenomenally uncharitable that is. He didn't say that.
And then he used this data from an article.
Yeah, that sounds pretty racist.
Pointing to some article on the Washington Post, if I remember correctly.
A typical white supremacist site.
But the article was actually about the incarceration rate of African Americans versus whites, and talking about why even for non-violent offenders, African Americans are targeted and arrested and have higher, a longer sentencing than whites do.
Is that a refutation of his point? Because it doesn't sound like a refutation of his point. It kind of sounds like you're confirming that the data he cited was accurate, and the question is why.
The article was actually about discrimination in America, you fucking moron.
That's right. They're just all really, really racist. And Hasan knows, because he's one of these racists. There are racists everywhere in America. Everyone's a fucking racist. Anyone looking at the outcome of any of these statistics and saying, well, this isn't to do with institutional racism, is a fucking moron.
But let's talk about all the racist shit that he said.
Sure, why not? You don't have anything better to do with your show, and I don't have anything better to do with this video. Go ahead.
In this bullet point that I wrote out, that's the level of detail I put into this, because
you wanted to make this a really good hit piece. You wanted to have real justification for getting angry and calling him every name under the sun because he had a shitty debate and said some silly things.
I'm probably going to write about this for Facebook as well, because he's such a fuckhead.
Can you even explain why you're so angry? Two people had a conversation and you didn't agree with one of them. Okay, why don't you just refute his points? I really don't understand why you're so fucking angry.
Okay, so all of the things that JonTron said, or the highlights, is this. Foreigners dilute the gene pool.
Yeah, but that's true. That's like factually correct. That's inevitable. That's got to be true. That must 100% be true, because otherwise there wouldn't be foreigners, would they? By definition, what he's saying there is correct. What's racist about that?
Black crime in America is the same as in Africa.
Well, it really depends where in Africa we're talking about, but actually JonTron is probably wrong. It's probably much worse in Africa. At least in South Africa, Botswana, Zambia, and Angola. It's way worse than the United States.
He brought that up not once but twice. Racial issues can be summed up via mixing different colors of paint.
What? Why is the paint analogy offensive? It's just an analogy. He's not saying one color of paint is better than the others.
Racism doesn't exist in America anymore. We fixed it. That's what he also said.
Even an uncharitable reading of that shows that he's talking about institutional racism, like Jim Crow and slavery. You know, the things that were like real hard racism that everyone could see that were actively interfering with other people's lives.
Statistical data means nothing because Clinton lost the election, and statistical data was pointing to Clinton winning.
Yes, and the polling was completely and utterly wrong. For the second time that year, after it was completely and utterly wrong on Brexit.
Destiny wants to kill black people. Black Lives Matter is a violent organization. Do you see the irony there?
Oh, do I have to do this, do I? Do I have to run around and find all of the clips of all of the Black Lives Matter supporters saying they hate white people, they don't care about white people, some people want to beat white people just because they're white, and all of these other things? Do I have to really go and run around and find these? Because I already know you know they exist.
Destiny wants to kill black people, and well, Destiny pointing the finger at Destiny saying he wants to kill black people.
Which was basically what Destiny was doing to him the whole debate. It was nothing but an attempt to paint him as a racist. He never argued the points honestly. And John wasn't ready for that.
The richest black man commits more crimes than the poorest white man, which is a data point that he made up in his mind.
Fucking dummy, you already told us it was from a Washington Post article. You're the one who gave us the citation on that, you idiot.
Tribalism is a valid theory.
You literally tried to refute his argument on the basis that Donald Trump banned Iranians coming to the country. You believe in tribalism.
Immigrants are destroying every single country they are led into.
If I recall correctly, he was talking about the refugee crisis in Europe, and I'm going to be honest with you, it hasn't been a picnic.
America is going to become Mexico.
Well, if you take in an overwhelming number of Mexicans, do you not think that culture will change American culture?
But then also racism is over.
Yes, in his mind, institutional racism is over. It's probably something to do with the fact that he voted for Barack Obama twice.
But Muslims are organizing it to make it seem like Christians are protesting abortion clinics.
Okay, I don't know what the deal with that one is, but assuming you're not taking it out of context, he's just flat wrong, isn't he?
So yeah. What's really interesting to me is that
His race, like earlier?
even though consistently he talked about immigration and wanted to make this like a more nuanced argument.
Yeah, you don't want to have any nuanced arguments, do you? There's no nuance involved here.
The more objective, level-headed argument grounded in reason and facts, he just kept on saying racist shit about black people.
Yeah, but he didn't, though. He didn't just sit there saying racist shit about black people. You are interpreting what he said as racist shit about black people. And I know this because the core of the debate was that he was saying racist shit about Mexicans, you fucking idiot. You're just hearing what you want to hear. I mean, did you even reach out to JonTron to say, John, do you actually stand by all this? Are you actually a racist? Would you like the chance to actually inform me of your views before I go and call you a racist?
Black people aren't immigrants, you fucking idiot.
That's the point. You can't separate the two issues in your mind, can you? Mexican immigration isn't a problem in race. It's a problem with culture. But you so desperately want this to be about race that now you're talking about black people as immigrants, which isn't something John said.
Not according to Ben Carson, who himself is black, but said recently that, black people are hardworking immigrants that came here in the bottom of slave ships. I don't know if you were quoting that.
You didn't give us a quote from where he said black people were immigrants. I mean, Jesus Christ, what are you talking about? Maybe he was quoting that. Maybe he was talking about slavery.
But, black people are, by and large, not immigrants. They make up for 13% of the population and mostly were here because of the slave trade.
Yeah, but as you pointed out, John's not white. So why does he need to feel bad about that?
And also to not factor in the socioeconomic status of, and the historical context given to different races and the race relations in America.
Fucking hell, just stop. Just fucking stop.
If you think about up to even the 1960s.
Yes. Long before he was born. That's why he thinks that institutional racism is over. Because it ended years ago.
How black people were treated. It's just
really fucking difficult to tie that to JonTron. That's what it is. That's why you're struggling. That's got nothing to do with JonTron or anything that he's saying, and you're desperately trying to make it relevant. But go on, just flounder past the finishing line.
It's just such an incomplete, such a stupid argument to even craft.
That you're not even going to bother refuting it.
What really worries me and upsets me is that there are people like JonTron out there on the internet posing as pseudo-intellectuals.
What? No, he's posing as a comedian, you said. But you don't think he's a comedian. If you think he's a pseudo-intellectual, say that you think he's a pseudo-intellectual. But what you mean is that he's posing as an intellectual, which he isn't. He says he's a fucking comedian.
And there are other racist morons, or at least morons that have this idea that inherently black people are worse than white people.
And let's be honest, that's your opinion as well. You just have a guilty conscience about it.
That, support these arguments. So then they're like, I'm gonna retweet this guy. I'm gonna follow this guy. This guy's very intelligent. He's talking about stats and data. Fuck you.
Fuck you for talking about stats and data, John. Fuck you.
That's all I have.
Is it though? Because I have a feeling you have a little bit more to say on the issue, don't you?
It's just really funny to me when people talk about genetic superiority, and it's usually the people that look incredibly genetically inferior.
Oh, Hasan, where are you going with this? Where are you going with this?
Not because I'm not basing this off of how much melanin you have in your skin.
So not race for once. Although that is the first place your mind went. But go on, tell me what the problem with the Untermensch is.
But I'm basing this off of what a fat piece of shit you are, JonTron. You fucking humanoid goblin fucking mixture. You Ted Cruz loving, fucking Donald Trump loving piece of shit.
Man, you should have seen her fucking face when you went through your little tirade. Holy shit. She didn't think that was a good idea. You fucking total arsehole. Of all the things, John, actually, you're short and fat and I'm a huge dude and I could beat you up. Meet me behind the bike sheds.
And I'm not saying this because I have friends that support Donald Trump.
Hashtag not all Trump supporters. Is that necessary? I don't think anyone's going to call you on that.
I'm not saying this because I'm intolerant to the intolerant. I'm saying this because he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, but is he though? Or is he someone who holds an opinion that you don't? In fact, I don't even think you're accurately representing his opinions here. So he doesn't even hold the opinion you think he holds. And you're going on this bloody childish tirade.
Like he is. And you know what? We should treat assholes the way they deserve to be treated.
Well, that's kind of the reason I'm making this video. Because you're being a total asshole.
Like fucking assholes. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you're misguided, let me teach you.
Why the fuck wouldn't you be? He wants specifically to have a debate on this issue because he thinks there are things that you're not talking about. And you could talk about those things and explain what you think is the correct way to consider these issues. And then, if he thinks it's the correct way, you have deconverted someone you think is a racist.
Fuck you.
Because he's a thought criminal now. That's what it is. Just fuck you. No, you had the wrong thought. This is it forever, John. That's it. You're into the fire of hell. Progressive hell. Hasan will be the person who sends you there. Watch your back the next time you're out on the playground.
You're misguided. You made these opinions, which are ironically self-harming because you yourself are from a family of immigrants coming from Iran. You fucking moron.
You did it again. Do you even remember arguing against tribalism? Do you even remember putting that clip up saying people are inherently tribal, and then you're sat here criticizing him for not being tribal enough?
Anyway, those are my thoughts.
I think you nailed it.